I want to let you guys know about one that I've really liked lately, and that's from BELIF. This is the True Cream, I was gonna say True Quine. It's a quine. Yes, quine. Hey guys and dolls, it's me, Cora. Today we're going to be continuing the skincare Sunday trend with my nighttime skincare routine. The nighttime routine is a little bit different from the daytime routine in that it has the added element of removing makeup, whereas in the morning you just kind of gotta wash your face and wash that night's sweat and products and stuff like that off. But with the daytime, you actually might have makeup on your face, and even if you don't have makeup on your face, you should have sunscreen on your face, and you do need to also take the time to remove sunscreen as well. That's something a lot of people don't really talk about, is that sunscreen is like designed to like stay on your skin, so you gotta work a little bit harder to actually get it off, and it's difficult because you can't see it in the same way that you can see makeup. Speaking of which, I didn't actually wear makeup for the majority of today because we were just out like going to like nurseries and stuff, looking at plants. We're expanding our outdoor garden, so I didn't actually wear makeup today, so I slapped this on. So if it's a little crazy, it's because I just like literally was like, and then I did too much and I was like, you know what, we're going with it. Because it doesn't matter, I just put it on to take it off. So let's go ahead and actually get started with my first cleanse. So when I wash my face at night, I actually do 2 steps. And I think a lot of people do this without like calling it a first and second cleanse. So the first cleanse is simply makeup remover to get the makeup off. Some people use a cleanser that's an all-in-one. I personally, since my skin is acne prone, I don't find that to be particularly effective for me. I do actually need a proper like makeup remover and then a skin cleanser to actually get my face clean. I personally like BIODERMA SENSIBIO. I've been using this now for several years. This is like my, I don't know, 3rd or 4th bottle of it. This is great. What this is it's a micellar water. I might be mispronouncing that, but it's little bits of oil suspended in water. So it's sort of like an oily cleanser that doesn't have that dual phase and it doesn't feel oily on the skin. So I just use this to take my makeup off. Usually start with the eye makeup because that's usually the most stubborn and needs the most wetness from the liquid. And if you have really stubborn eye makeup, you can just kind of like hold it there for a sec. And you'll see like it's not perfectly gone at this point, but that's okay because we're going to go in and actually wash our face in just a sec. My lipstick last. A little around the outside of your mouth, but I try to use as few cotton pads as I can because I do like to buy ones that are a little nicer. These are the Shiseido facial cottons. You can get these from Sephora. I think you can even get them on Amazon and stuff like that. They're kind of on the pricier side. It's definitely a luxury product. You totally could just use like, you know, a cheapie. It doesn't really matter all that much. I just like them because they feel nice and soft and luxurious. Okay, in terms of actually cleansing your face, you do need to do a second cleanse. Like my face, like sure, it doesn't look like there's makeup on it and it actually feels pretty nice, but I know that there's stuff left behind. I know that there's residue and my face just needs a little bit more of a solid cleanse from the day. So there's a lot of different cleansers I can use, and I'm going to actually cover some dupes in my video next week. But in last week's video, I talked about the nude skincare and I said, oh, it might still be available on their website. It's totally not, and I didn't know that. So I'm going to use the SONIA KASHUK dupe that I talked about last week because I oftentimes will use this at night and it works the exact same way. It's a little gel and you rub it on your face. Dry, I should mention. If you haven't seen last week's skincare video, you might not know that. So it's interesting because it turns into an oil as you rub it. Like the warmth of your skin actually turns it into an oil. And it works really well at getting everything off, but it doesn't leave an oily residue or anything on your face. And then what you do is you go to the sink, you add some warm water to your hands, and then you rub it into your face to make it like a milk, and then you take it off with a wet washcloth. So I will be right back so I can show you guys that. Just a little bit of extra warm water in my washcloth, so I'm going to use that on my hands. And then you work it into your skin. Some people prefer to use like a Clarisonic or something, and that can also be quite good. So you can see there's still makeup coming off even though it didn't look like there's still makeup on my face. These washcloths in some ways remind me a bit of the makeup eraser, but like a super super luxury version of that. Now my mascara might not come off all the way because this is a latex base that actually requires like warm water to get it off, and this just isn't quite warm enough, but I'm just gonna go to my sink and go ahead and rinse it off. I think I started to say something about Clarisonics. Now if you like to use Clarisonics, that's great. I only recommend really using them like once a day, not twice, because otherwise you might be over exfoliating your face. I personally have taken to using the washcloths because they're just a little bit more economical for me. I buy these once. I don't have to replace them as often. I will have a link in the description bar down below to these washcloths because I think last week I forgot to link it and a lot of you are asking me where I got them, so I'll go ahead and link that down below for you. I'm gonna go properly rinse my face and I'll be right back. So now that my face is washed and dried and everything like that, I'm ready for my acid toning step. Today I'm gonna use my BHA at night, which is what I tend to do. I kind of like will switch the products up, and that's something I really hope that my videos are able to do for you guys, is to learn what products do, like why am I using this product, and then learn how to manipulate them within your routine and be able to switch things up and know kind of what you're doing with each one of those things, and you're not just like, oh, Vintageortacky said to use this, so I'm going to use this and I don't even really know why I'm using it. I want you guys to know why you're using a particular product and what it does for you. I talked a little bit in last week's video about what BHAs do, but I just want to cover it again really briefly here. They work underneath the skin surface within the pore to reshape it, to thin out oil, to help to declog it. It does a few other things. That's the main thing. It is a wonderful product for anti-acne. This one is the Paula's Choice Resist Daily Pore Refining Treatment BHA. This one's one for normal to oily combination skin. My skin is pretty normalized and balanced at this point, so this works great for me. What I like is that this isn't as sticky as the other BHA liquid, which I was using for a while. I actually have only had this for a week now, and I already can tell that I like it better than the other. So get a little bit of that on my cotton pad and swish it all on my face. And I do go over my eyelids with this as well. Anything that has acid in it says that it's not for the eye area. That's just because laws and rules and stuff. But it's perfectly fine as long as you're not actually putting it like in the eye, you're good. I'm going ahead and putting this all over. I mentioned in my previous video, don't forget your neck. Usually get all of this as well. Really use that pad until it's dry. I mean, you're just wasting product if you just throw it out. So I'll just flip it over. I'll use it in between my boobs because I actually have a dry patch of skin there, and using these kind of acid exfoliants are really great. I use it on my arms for my keratosis pilaris. It's just a really good product. So this next step in my skincare routine is something that is definitely a luxury. This is a water humectant spray. You guys saw in my last video I used Fix Plus. Today I'm going to use one from May Lindstrom. This is the Jasmine Garden. It smells like jasmine. It smells divine to me. Jasmine's one of my favorite smells in the whole world. So I'm going to go ahead and spray this on my face. Yum, yum, yum. It smells divine. So what this does is, for one, it smells good and it's a luxurious experience, and I'm not going to lie, that's like 50% of it. But the other thing is a humectant spray or a water spray or a water toner is going to help all of your other products draw into your skin and absorb better. This is something that I personally enjoy doing. You don't have to do this, and if you're just trying to craft a really great skincare routine that is a little bit more bare bones, you can totally skip that step, but it takes like 2 seconds to do, and there are less expensive humectant sprays, which I'll cover in next week's video. This next step in my routine is something that I'm only going to apply in just a couple of different spots on my face, and that's the Paula's Choice Resist 9. Now normally, as I mentioned, BHA is in a concentration of like 1 or 2%. This is a concentration of 9%, so this is hardcore shit right here. I would not recommend putting this all over your face every day unless you have an extreme tolerance. There's a reason why it comes in a very tiny little bottle. This is meant for occasional use or targeted use. So I personally have a little spot coming up here, and I have some healing acne still from last week. I know, do you ever just get those zits that like just won't go away? Yeah. So, and I also have some hormonal period acne, so that's always really fun. Those tend to come in on my chin, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on those places where I have like a post-acne piece here where I'm trying to get the, the scar to fade. Some people also use retinol on these spots. I use a retinol all over my face, which I'm going to do in a few minutes here, so I personally prefer to use the salicylic acid treatment instead of using a ton of retinol, but you just do whatever works for you. So because this Paula's Choice product has such a high concentration of the BHA, I tend to notice like a tiny bit of tingling when I use this, not necessarily like stinging, and it doesn't hurt or burn or anything like that. It just has kind of like a tingling active feeling. So what I usually do is I sort of let it just sit on my face as it is for at least like 10 to 15 minutes if I can. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there are times when like I'm like, okay, we got to get the skincare on because I need to go to bed. But under like optimal circumstances, when I have a little bit more time to just sort of do my self-care and, you know, do my routine slowly, I like to give this enough time to where at least I'm not feeling the tingling anymore before I go and put the next step on. Now, in the past, I've heard things where they say that retinols and BHAs can't be used at the same time, but I've also heard the opposite. I've heard that you can use them at the same time with no problem at all. I personally don't have any problem using them together, but I've also been using them for a number of years, so my skin has learned to tolerate it. My personal favorite skincare treatment at night, and one that I use, I would say 75 to 85% of the time, because I don't use it every single night, because I'll switch it up and use something else, or sometimes I'll give my skin a break. If I've done like a nice, you know, exfoliating mask or something, you know, I'll go ahead and chill out on using the retinol that night, and that's retinol. Retinol is, it's an ingredient that if you can tolerate it, which some people cannot, but if you can, it is going to dramatically change your skin. It does so much good stuff. Retinol is a derivative of vitamin A, and there's sort of a pyramid to it, which we'll talk about in just a second, but I just want to tell you guys what it does. So it speeds up cell turnover. It actually boosts the production of collagen because it's a skin communicating ingredient. So it helps your skin help itself. It reduces pore size, and it even can reduce the appearance of fine lines and even wrinkles. And this is like not BS. This isn't like, oh my god, this is so amazing, I'll like totally make your skin perfect. And like, no, it actually works. But you have to find the right retinol product for you. So at the very top of the pyramid, you have things like Retin-A or other prescription vitamin A derivative prescriptions that will do all of these things for your skin. Those are the most effective. They are also the most irritating. So the biggest drawback for retinoids, retinol, things like that, is that because it does all this great stuff for your skin, it shakes things up, and it can cause extreme redness and extreme flakiness. And in most people, it goes away in about 2 months. But some unlucky few have continued inflammation and continued irritation when using it. I actually had a lot of redness from using it, even though it made my pores so smooth. So then I turned to a retinol-based product, which I can talk about a little bit more next week. But even there, I wasn't 100% happy, and I was still having some irritation. So I heard about this new product from Sunday Riley called Luna, and this sounded right up my alley. So this is actually using a new form of retinol called trans-retinol ester. So for like looking at the pyramid, so at the very top there's like the prescriptives, and then there's regular retinol, and then there's trans-retinol ester, which is sort of like a baby cousin of those other two. So this has a lot of the same benefits as retinol without the irritation. On top of that, the retinol is housed in an oil, which also helps to minimize the irritation due to the other ingredients in it, like blue tansy. There's a whole bunch of other stuff in Luna. Avocado, chia, conquered grapeseed oils. Lots of great things that help nourish the skin. So this is sort of like hydrating and nourishing and soothing, and then also has this just absolutely rock star, in my opinion, necessary skincare ingredient. Just does so much for me. My pores are smaller, everything's smoother. I wake up with my skin just feeling plump and hydrated. I love this. That all sounds like freaking amazing, right? Well, there are 2 or 3 caveats I want to let you guys know about retinol. First and foremost, I believe the FDA doesn't recommend using retinols when you are pregnant. I don't know if that's just for Retin-A or if it also is for like retinol derivative products. So that's something that if you are pregnant, you might want to talk to your doctor about. The other thing that you want to keep in mind is that retinol, it makes you photosensitive. It makes you very sensitive to the skin. You should be using a sunscreen anyway, but you definitely have to use one if you're going to use a retinol product. This oil, in fact, is actually tinted blue that I use. So it's like, hey, you don't want to put this on your face during the day because you're gonna have a, you know, you're gonna look like a Smurf. The other thing about this is that it's $125. It's very expensive. By comparison to buying my prescription retinol, which was completely inelegant of a formula. I mean, it smelled like, honestly, it smelled like baby butt cream. It was awful, if I'm being totally honest with you. And yes, I had a little sister, I know what Desitin smells like. So that was expensive to buy something I didn't even like, and it irritated the crap out of my skin. Whereas this, for me, is just as effective as that, but it's not irritating to my skin. Plus it has the blue tansy, the avocado oils, you know, it has a lot of other hydrating benefits for my skin, and it's honestly, the improvement I've seen in my skin is completely worth the amount of money I spend on it. Part of my point of this series is to show you things that are expensive that are genuinely worth spending your money on, and this is one of them. Highly recommend. This is how I do it. You have a little dropper, right? And I get a couple of drops into the palm of my hand. Then I take one finger at a time, and I started out here in the center of my face. Oh, I've never actually done this in front of a mirror. It's kind of funny. Just do it like over, you know, in my bed, like right before I go to sleep. This is kind of strange. So I rub this all into my cheeks. This is like my main focus area because this is where I have my most enlarged pores in this whole little area. And then I'll put it on my nose. You can really see the blueness of the oil, and sometimes I don't like fully like wipe it in at first. Now I know some people like sort of press it into their skin. It'll just never absorb into my skin if I do it that way. I need to kind of help it along by kind of rubbing it in. Just to get it evenly distributed. Oh, and it smells so good. Now, you might be kind of turned off by that smell. It smells a lot, like very heavily, of blue tansy. This also has dye added to the ingredients to make it more blue, so that blue color doesn't completely come from the blue tansy, just so you know. And this is called like Luna Sleeping Oil. I'm sorry, I don't even think I told you the full name of the product. This is called Luna Sleeping Night Oil from Sunday Riley. I love this. I'm so excited to check out more stuff from Sunday Riley. Put this in all the way up around my eye area, trying to prevent those crow's feet and all that nice neat stuff. I am going to give this a couple more minutes to soak in. Occasionally I will just kind of go straight in with my moisturizer, particularly if I'm trying to sort of like weaken the effects of this. Like I want the benefit, but I'm like, okay, cool it down before you do too much. Pretty warm here recently, and when the weather is warmer, I usually need a little bit less hydration, and if I try to overload my skin with a bunch of oils and moisturizers, it rebels horribly. So I'm going to go ahead and skip my fresh sea berry oil, which is fantastic and makes my skin have this beautiful glow to it, and it's lovely, but I just don't need it right now, so we're gonna skip it. I totally messed up and I forgot to apply my Ultra Repair Hydrating Serum from First Aid Beauty. This is really great because it's a water weight serum. So you want to put this on before you put on an oil weight serum, which is essentially what the Luna Sleeping Night Oil is. It's more of like a treatment than an oil, but it still has an oil weight to it. So it's harder for water weight things to soak in. Unfortunately, I forgot to put this on tonight, but normally this goes on in between my acid tone and this step. I forgot it. Shit happens. We're moving on. Speaking of which, because it's been warmer, I also tend to prefer gel type moisturizers. I really love the CeraVe PM. I use that quite consistently, but I do want to let you guys know about one that I've really liked lately, and that's from BELIF. This is the True Cream, I was going to say True Quine. It's a quine. Yes, quine. Okay. I'm punchy, it's late at night. BELIF True Cream Aqua Bomb. I got a deluxe sample of this from Sephora. It smells quite nice, a little citrusy, a little herbally. It smells quite divine. You could talk about how jar packaging isn't the best. However, in my opinion, you know, this is just kind of going on to seal everything in, act as a humectant. It doesn't have to be the end all be all. I'm not looking for all of my antioxidants and all my great skincare ingredients from this. This is really just to seal it all in. So slather this guy on all over. And again, don't forget the neck. The final things for me are my Vaseline lip balm. Put on tons at night to really, really protect them because my lips get chapped so easily. I'll even take it just a little bit outside the lip lines. Looks ridiculous, but you know what? when you get dry like that, you gotta do what you gotta do. And then finally, for hand cream, I actually use this CeraVe moisturizing cream. I got this in like a little eczema like skin kit this winter. And I didn't end up using it on my face, but lately I've discovered I like the texture of it on my hands. I'm like super tired now. I've done my whole routine. It definitely like sets me in the mood for bed. It's a moment for self-care at the end of the night where I just, you know, skincare is like a different kind of luxury for me than makeup. Makeup is totally fun, and don't get me wrong, I love that. But skincare has this like self-care, loving yourself element to it. And it really, my nighttime routine, it just kind of gets me in the mood for bed. It kind of acts as part of the ritual of getting ready to go to sleep. So now I am super tired. Anyway, I hope you're having a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to watch my previous Skincare Sunday video, which was my daytime routine, so you can find some more information there. Next week I'm going to have a video about dupes, things that work similarly to other things, or things you can kind of switch out within a category of the routine. So I hope that will be helpful, and I'll see you guys next week. Remember to be vintage or tacky, just your own kind of beautiful. See you, bye.